Thank you, Manel. So grab a pen and paper, because what you're gonna hear today is not something you're gonna find on the internet. You're not gonna find this on YouTube. You're not gonna find this. I'm just gonna share some serious stuff so that you start getting much more job interviews than ever before. Okay. Now I have a confession to make. This webinar is actually a sample. It's actually just a a sample. I guess it's just a brief example of a seminar. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this webinar, but I'm organizing something called the Job Search Accelerator Seminar. It's a full day seminar live in Dubai. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this webinar. And what you're going to hear today is only, let's say 5% of it, but it's really powerful. So please stay with me, because you're going to get some really good, awesome, training here on how to get much more job interviews. Okay. The first thing that we have to start with, I always start with this, is give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Oftentimes people say, oh, Hamza, what, you mean you're only doing coaching? You don't have a job? I mean, I'm looking for a job. I'm not looking for coaching. So silly to think like this, because give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. You see, if you know how to find work, in other words, if you teach a man to fish, you'll feed him for a lifetime. If you teach someone to find work, he'll never need someone else to find him a job, to give him a job. He'll find it himself. Okay, and that's what I do. Okay? So this is the job seeker, the classic job seeker. Okay, let's see if I have received any replies today. She starts her morning like this. Okay, let's see if I have received any reply today. 5 minutes later, there's no reply, there's no emails. Okay, let's see if there are any new job posting today. Nope, no job posting, same as yesterday. And most job seekers, 99% of them would say, oh, the market is rubbish. I have a problem with that. In fact, I have a problem with that because that's the number one excuse that job seekers talk about. The number one excuse is the economy, the market. There are excuses that people always bring when you ask them, hey, why do you think you're not able to find work, or you're not able to get more interviews? They will say, oh, there's way too much competition, Hamza. It's too much competition. The second excuse is that they say, I don't know, I'm doing everything fine. I had my CV reviewed by a friend of mine. She's in HR. She knows everything. I don't know. And the third is, of course, the economy. The economy is that number one excuse. If you speak to people that are not able to find work, whether they're employed at the moment or unemployed, doesn't matter. If they're not able to find the next job, they will tell you it's the economy. I have a problem with that. Why is that? Because for most job adverts, someone is going to get hired. Now, so the question is, why not you? Why not you? I mean, it makes sense, right? Why not you? Okay. So sometimes people say, oh, because you need luck, Hamza. You need luck to find work now because of the economy. Okay. It's the same excuse, but now they say they need something else. They need luck. Okay. Like those who find work, they are lucky. Those who don't find work, they are not lucky. That's not true. That's not true at all. It's not fair to speak like this at all. Okay. So essentially, what we need to keep in mind as well is two statistics. The first one, for every job application, you get hundreds of job applicants. According to a study, 250 applicants. I can tell you that I'm still working for some of my clients as a recruiter, and I can tell you that sometimes we reach 1,500 job applicants. 1,500 job applicants. The average time a recruiter will spend on your CV, that's according to a study conducted by Forbes, is between 7 seconds. That's why people say you need a lot of luck to find work. And I still don't agree. I'm going to share with you the story of Sandra and Lisa has found work and Sandra did not. Okay? But first of all, can you guys tell me if you can still hear me? Can you guys just say, yes, I can still hear you. I'm still here. We're following. Because we're going to get into something really, really important now. I want to make sure that everyone is with me. So Manel is with Pradeep. Yes, I can still hear you. Excellent, excellent. Badis is saying yes. Excellent, excellent, awesome. I will ask you from time to time because I'm alone. You see, I don't know if you guys are hearing or not. So from time to time, I will ask you to obviously participate like this, if that's okay. All right. And I will also ask you some questions at some point, but I will give you the answer very quickly. So when I ask you the question, please reply as soon as possible. Okay. So this is Sandra and Lisa. It's not really Sandra and Lisa, okay? In fact, they're not even called Sandra and Lisa. Sandra and Lisa, what I call Sandra and Lisa is two friends of mine that have similar profiles. As you can see, Sandra and Lisa, they both have a bachelor's degree, 8 years of experience, product managers. Their last salary is the same because they used to work in the same company. And Sandra and Lisa have also in 1 month sent roughly the same number of job applications. So they got made redundant at the same time. They have similar profile. They started on the job market searching for a job together. They probably competed with one another. They sent roughly the same amount of job applications, okay? And you know, Sandra received no job offers, whereas Lisa received 3 job offers. Why is it? And this is the very, very core of this webinar. I thought about making a webinar thanks to Sandra and Lisa, because with this case, I have an amazing, you know, scenario, case study, in fact, because they have everything is the same, right? But one is getting, not 1, 3 job offers, and one was amazing, so she took it. Lisa got a job, not Sandra, but Sandra didn't even get a job offer. I'm here to tell you what Lisa did different than Sandra. Are you guys still with me? Yes? Excellent, excellent, awesome, brilliant. So the first thing that you have to understand is that Sandra and Lisa have different mindsets. You see, I told you that the #1 excuse of job seekers when they can't find work is the economy, okay? Anywhere you go is the economy. So Sandra's mindset will say exactly that. In fact, she has what we call a victim mindset. The definition of a victim mindset is a mindset that always blames things, always thinks that it's not his or her fault, it's external circumstances. Like, oh, it's because of my parents, because I don't have a degree, because of the market, there are no jobs out there, you need luck. You see, luck is an external thing that happens to you, you don't have it inside you. You know, it's all about the way you look. I don't, you know, sometimes people say, oh, because I have the wrong passport, the wrong nationality. They say recruiters, they are the problem, they are not very professional. You know, when I asked Sandra, I said, hey, Sandra, Lisa has found work. Do you need my help? She said, obviously I coached Lisa, okay? I have coached Lisa. She's the one that introduced me to Sandra. But Sandra did not want any coaching, which is fine because a lot of people find work without coaching, of course, right? So, you know, when I asked Sandra after a month and she didn't get anything, I said to Sandra, do you want my help? Do you need any help? She said, no, Hamza, I don't have time. I don't have money. And that's fascinating because that's also a victim mindset. You see, time and money are external things that, you know, you choose affect what you're doing, your results or not. That's a victim mindset. A victim mindset is at the mercy of external circumstances. He will always blame things. Oh, why did you get fired? Because my employer is rubbish. Why do you have bad grades? Why did you fail your exam? Because the school is rubbish, because the teacher is rubbish, because, you know, it's always the government's fault, the city's fault, the weather's fault, it's the car, you know, it's my alarm bell. Hey, why are you late? Because my alarm didn't ring, right? So victim mindset, I hope it makes sense. Now, the other type of mindset is Lisa's mindset, and Lisa takes responsibility. The mindset that is a creator mindset is a mindset that takes responsibility. Okay, so Lisa will say, it's because of what I'm doing. She will say, I have to learn how to. If she's not getting enough job interviews, she will say, I need to invest in myself. I must try something different. I can't see the full picture if I am in the frame. I will ask someone more expert. Do you see the difference? You see, you can please reply if you see the difference. If you don't see the difference, I'll explain better, because that's very, very important. Okay, please tell me if you understand this, the difference between creator mindset and obviously a creator mindset, sorry, and obviously a victim mindset. Okay, so essentially what you have to keep in mind is that the creator mindset is going to say, I create my destiny. Everything that happens to me is based on my choices that I have made, decisions that I have taken, and you know, I did this. Okay, so if I choose to look for work with a bad CV, then you know, that's a decision I've made, right? So that's a creator mindset. And you see, the thing about victim mindset is that you can blame other things like the market. You can blame it for the next 25 years. It's not going to change your situation. It's not going to change your situation. We need to stop blaming this market, blaming because we don't have the right nationality or whatever it is. We need to stop it, because you're using, you know, energy, precious energy, instead of being creative and create solutions, create progress. You're actually justifying a situation by external circumstances. Very, very important. Thank you, Tilly. Okay, so in other words, you cannot be successful and continue to be a victim. Before we progress further, please tell me now if you don't agree, because that's very, very important. Please say, if you agree with this statement, say yes. If you don't agree with this statement, say no, I don't agree. Okay, excellent. There's absolutely no point. I don't care if the market is good or bad. It doesn't matter, because the market is good or bad for everyone. Some people are finding and some people are don't. The market does not discriminate. It doesn't say, oh, I'm going to be bad for this guy and I'm going to be good for this girl. No, market is bad for everyone. Okay, keep this in mind. So you cannot be successful and continue to be a victim. Okay, here's a question for you. Is finding a job a process or a result? Very fast. Is it a process or a result? Is finding a job a process or a result? Okay, so you're still thinking it. Pradeep is giving it a go. Go on, Pradeep. Okay, process. Finding a job is a process. Thanks for answering, Pradeep, because the others are still thinking. At least you gave a shot. You gave it a shot. Look, finding a job, if it's your objective, that's a result. Okay, if it's your goal, that's a result. Okay, so it's not a process. Okay, a process is what you do in order to achieve the result. Okay, so in other words, you know, it's like cooking. If you cook a tiramisu, well, the tiramisu cooked and then you put it in the fridge and it's served is the result, the final result. But the process is the recipe. Now, do you know how I know if something is going to taste good or not? By the recipe, by the process. If I put fresh ingredients, if I put amazing quantities, I mean the right quantities, the right ingredients, if I put things at the right temperature, if I buy, you know, organic stuff, etc., etc., if I put quality into my process, then the result will be better than if I don't put quality into my recipe. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree? So, yeah, and I know there's always a time difference between my question and your answers, because obviously it's not, there's a few seconds different. So thank you, Manel. So what's Pradeep is answering as well. Okay. Thank you, Pradeep. So what's really important is that you stop saying, okay, I can't find jobs because of the market, but you start saying, if I can't find jobs, something I'm doing in my recipe is not right. Perhaps several things. Because the moment you refocus your mind on recipe, then this is where the success lies. The only thing that could affect the final result is the recipe, right? If you cook something and it doesn't taste good, you're not going to blame the building or the oven. No, you're going to blame the recipe. You made a mistake in the recipe. That's logical. So if you can't find work, you need to go back to the things that constitute your recipe, your process at work, the way you apply, your CV, etc., etc. In fact, there's something called the distraction effect. When you focus, when you really focus, hello John, when you really focus on, on the result, okay? So the result is really on, that money side. Can you see my my mouse here? Hang on 1 second, I'm just gonna show you what I mean straight away. Okay. So yeah. So can you, hang on. Oh, okay, it's not working. Anyways, so my point is, you see here we go. When you focus on this, everyone, when you focus on this, on the result, on getting the job, etc., etc., you're not paying attention to the job search. So my 3-step formula is really about, the process, because that's the only thing that can change the result, not the market. The market we don't control, okay? So now here's a question for you very quickly. Who believes that finding a great job is up to your recipe and not up to the market, to your nationality, to things like this? Who believes that? It's very important that we are all on the same line here. Okay, so you're all with me, and it's very good. I'm really pleased. Excellent, John. Thank you. So let's carry on then. Why did Lisa found work and not Sandra? If you analyze the statistics, their numbers, Sandra and Lisa's, you will see why straight away. The number of job applications in 1 month is similar, roughly 50 each, because they competed on the same, they lost their job at the same time, so they were competing probably for the same jobs, okay? But look at the number of times the CV was read for Sandra. 13. The number of times the CV was read for Lisa is 135. Now, this is where I lose a lot of people. This is where people say, no, it's impossible because you have 50 job applications. They can't read 135 times your CV. It doesn't make sense. No, it's impossible. I will ask you to give me the benefit of the doubt, and I will prove it to you. Just give me the benefit of the doubt. Sit and relax, please. Okay, so let's suppose that I'm right for now. It's easy to understand why Lisa is getting much more first stage interviews, because her CVs are read much more times. So of course, she's getting much more second stage interviews, much more salary negotiations, and much more offers. It's all linked, connected with the number of times your CV is read. Okay, so very important. Okay. Now, let's talk about my 3-step formula. I'm going to show you how to, number 1, magnetizing your CV. I'm going to show you how to magnetize your CV. I'm going to show you how to throw your net, and I'm going to show you how to destroy the competition, how to beat the competition. I'm going to show you these 3 things. Now, I have to warn you, I will sometimes take a sip of water if that's okay. I have to warn you, everyone, the first step is the most important step. The most important step is really that first step. So I want you to gather all your focus, your energy to concentrate on that first step, because that's also the longest one. The other 2 steps are very fast, very short. Pay attention. But the first step is the longest. After that, it goes very fast, okay? So the first step, magnetizing your CV. What do I mean by magnetizing? Well, I've put a magnet because what I mean by magnetizing is attracting. is actually attracting employers and recruiters, attracting them to you, okay? And that's what I want to show you, because I'm going to share with you my CV writing formula. First of all, we have to agree on something. The number one purpose of your CV is not to showcase your skill, to sell yourself, none of that. The number one purpose of a CV is to receive calls from recruiters, from employers. Everything else, even if it's true, is secondary. Secondary. But the number one purpose is to receive calls from recruiters. Okay? Can you guys agree with me here? Because that's very important. Can you guys say yes or no? Okay, okay, okay. Perfect, perfect. Excellent. So now I'm going to share with you my CV writing formula. CV writing formula. If you have these ingredients on your CV, you'll get more phone calls from recruiters. It's mathematical. It's not normally you should get a little bit more. It's a lot more, and I'm going to prove it to you. Keywords plus quantities or numbers plus results plus action verbs. Let's start with keywords. A lot of people, when they send their applications, sometimes they send 20, 30 applications per day. And they say to me sometimes, Hamza, you know what, Hamza, I'm working really hard. I'm sending 20 job applications every single day, but nobody's calling. Nobody's calling. And I smile. I smile sometimes because I say, but there is nobody. You're not sending it to a person. So the person usually says, what do you mean? You're sending it to a machine, to a database. When you click on the apply button, when you send your CV to the generic email address like hr@companyname.com or apply@companyname.com, these are not real people. Your application is sent to a database called an ATS, an applicant tracking system. Now, you remember the figures I gave you earlier? I told you there are hundreds of job applicants for one job, for one vacancy. Well, if I put everyone on a database, I'm able to search things with keywords. So instead of opening, let's say, 1,000, I'm just going to put the keywords, and only the CVs that include these keywords will show in the search result of the database. LinkedIn is a database. The job portals are databases. Everything is a database. Recruitment companies work with these databases. Employers work with these databases. They are called ATSs, applicant tracking system. The problem with people, the number one problem with people, is that they don't have the first ingredient. They don't have keywords on their CV. So when recruiters, they go into their database and they start typing those keywords, their CV is not coming up. They might be amazing candidates, but the recruiter will never know just because they don't have the keywords on their CV. So the number one thing that you must do is to add keywords. Yeah, but Hamza, how do you know which keywords they're going to type in, right? That's a normal question to ask. Well, it's actually right in front of you. It's on the job advert. You see, the job advert is written by recruiters and employers, and they are telling you, here's what we're looking for. But try to look at job adverts in terms of keywords. You'll be amazed. Because once you start comparing what you have on your CV and the words that you have on the job advert, you're going to start saying, hang on a minute, I'm missing a few keywords. Okay? That's the number one ingredient. Why? Because your CV is going to databases. Whether you register to a job portal, you apply online, all this is going to databases. You've got to have better keywords. In fact, let me tell you this. Imagine if you send your application 100 times and you realize that before your CV was only read 5 times. So 5 times out of 100. 95% of the time your CV is not even open because no keywords. 95% of the time. Now imagine if you add keywords, and instead of 5 times out of 100 job application, your CV is now opened 35 times. 35 times. Now, you see, I'm not saying it's going to be open 100% of the time. No, I'm still going to be super conservative, and I'm going to say that your CV is going to be open 35% of the time. If you compare 35% and 5% of the time, you have just multiplied by 7 the number of times your CV is going to be read. Just with one ingredient on your CV, the keywords. Please tell me if you agree before I move on. Do you agree with me or not? Because that's very important that you understand this concept, okay? If you do have any questions, please leave them for the end, because I will not be able to interrupt the presentation for one person, okay? But I will stay until you no longer have any questions. And Thierry, if there are any questions on Facebook, same thing as well. I will try to answer questions on Facebook as well, okay? So next ingredient is, how do you sell yourself on your CV? How do you, now that your CV comes up in the search, I'm gonna read it, but what makes an employer call a CV and not the other one when he reads it? Well, first of all, we have to understand that employers and job seekers speak a different language. And as long as you speak the language of the job seekers, employers will not connect with you. You see, job seekers, they speak with the heart. Employers, they speak with the brain. Job seekers are passionate. They are motivated, self-driven, and autonomous, and all these words that mean nothing, Employers are factual. They are number-driven. In fact, if you think about it, anyone that is in a position of making a decision to hire a person or not is usually a manager, leader, a director, head of department or something. And you know, the one thing about these directors, these leaders, these managers, is that they live and die by the numbers they report. A company think in numbers. A company think in numbers. Think about productivity, your working hours, your salary. Think about the size of a team. Think about investment. Think about time, efficiency. Think about costs. Think about dividends. Think about, you know, anything is about numbers. Anything is about numbers. Even your KPIs are about numbers. Everything is measured with numbers. Everything is measured with numbers. A fiscal year, a month, a salary, everything is around numbers. You know how much numbers we find on CVs? 0. Most of the time we find 0 numbers. Recruiters or employers and, you know, job seekers, they speak a different language. They don't connect. So that's why your CV might come up, but if you don't have numbers, it's not going to work. Let me give you an example. So don't say you're currently managing a team. Start saying you're currently managing a team of 5 people. Start saying you're currently, supervising a team of 65 people in 3 locations. The numbers that you will put will make you unique. But if you don't put numbers, if you just say currently managing the team, responsible for the team, you know, everyone can do that, everyone. So there's no difference between your profile and another. And if I have 2 years experience less than you, for example, but I put numbers, I will receive the phone call, not you. Because your CV looks like everyone else's. It means nothing. Because, you know, there's a huge difference between someone that manages a team of 5 people, he's a manager, and someone that manages a team of 65 people in 3 locations. Who do you think is a better manager? He's a more experienced senior manager. That's what numbers do. They make you unique, but on top of this, they communicate the depth of your experience. And that's powerful. No one on earth has the same numbers than you. You become a masterpiece once you start putting your numbers. But if you don't have numbers, you're a nobody. Because everyone has exactly the same sentences. You're talking to someone that spent 14, 15 years of his life reading CVs almost on a daily basis. So imagine, all the CVs are boring because they mean nothing. What we're looking for is numbers. Keep this in mind. Third ingredient. Now, we talked about keywords. We're talking about quantifying numbers. Now I want to talk to you about the third ingredient, which is results. Do you know why? Because employers are not recruiting people to do things. They're recruiting people to achieve things. So I'm not recruiting people to do phone calls. I'm recruiting people to achieve 5-star customer service. I'm not recruiting a salesperson to do client meetings. That's doing. I'm recruiting a salesperson to make sales, okay? To make deals with companies. So the third ingredient that will make the employers fall in love with you is really about putting your results. In other words, let me keep on the example of the manager. Remember that manager that is managing 5 people, for example? Well, as a result, you can say, have grown the team from 2 people to 5 people in less than 6 months. Have doubled the team in less than 6 months. That's a result. Do you see the difference? Of course, results are quantifiable and they are number-based as well. Of course, everything is about numbers, but result is what you achieve. You can say I've trained 23 people, or you can say I've trained 23 people and half of them became top performer. Who do you think is a better trainer? You see, results actually are an indicator of future results. So the past results indicate how well you are likely to do in the future. If I hire Usain Bolt to run for me, his past results, not because he's famous, his past results makes me think he's going to do very well in the future as well. And this is what the third ingredient that's missing is really this one. Result, 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 result. Everything is about results. There is no employer in his mind that's going to pay you a salary and you're not achieving results. There's no way. Okay, no way. There's no way. Everything is quantifiable. If you were not achieving results, or if you were not achieving more than you cost, you would lose your job, period. So before you start saying, but Hamza, I don't think I have results, my job is not the same, you know, my company doesn't operate like that. I heard them all. I have not, in my entire career, come across one job where there's no results. Not in my entire career. Okay? So very, very important. Finally, the fourth ingredient. Guys, I'm just going to make a check. Are you guys still with me? Maybe I'm talking by myself. Thierry, is there people, you know, on Facebook? Are they hearing? Are they participating? Okay. Thank you. So now, fourth ingredient. I want you to start banning, forbidden, completely forbidden. Forbid these words. Responsible for, in charge of, managing. Why? Because they mean nothing. They truly mean nothing. When you are responsible for a team of 12 people, a project, accounting, it doesn't mean anything. You can be responsible without doing anything. Someone else can do the job, but if someone else, you're the boss, you're responsible. Being responsible doesn't mean anything. And it's the same thing with in charge of, and to a lesser extent, managing. Managing the entire department. What does it mean? What do you do exactly in your day? That's not an activity. think about it. I want you to start using action verbs. You see, the thing with action verbs is that they trigger the reader's imagination. If I say, even if I say, don't imagine me training a room of 50 people, immediately your brain goes to work. Even if I say don't, because training, to train, is an action verb. So is conducting, conduct, supervise, implement, deliver, develop, produce, generate. Why are we using words that mean nothing when we have so many words that are beautiful? And you know what happens is that when you use this technique, this fourth ingredient, when the employer is going to read your CV, every single word is going to bring an image into his mind. An image that you are working, that you are at work. That's the power of action verbs. So that at the end of reading a CV, he's going to think, I don't know why, but I think he's good. He doesn't know you. You just triggered his imagination. He imagines you, doing a good job at work because he's seen you in so many different positions thanks to your action verbs. Where do you find action verbs, Hamza? On Google. Wow, that's powerful. It's super easy. It's on Google. So be careful because sometimes you'll find strange words that I don't like managed. Okay? But there are tons of action verbs that you can use on your CV. Tons. Okay? Very, very important. Now, try to keep your sentences short. Remember, a CV is read fast. So if you have several sentences, paragraphs, and it's bulky, people will not read it. It's too busy out there. A lot of competition. You want to be short. Action verbs quantity or action verb plus result. That's it. Okay? Very, very, very important. Okay? This is my CV writing formula and it's step number 1. Okay? In other words, keywords plus quantities or numbers plus results have to be quantifiable plus action verbs equal more recruiter phone calls. I'm going to give you one last example of typical results that you can put. If you have been promoted, that's the result. Why? Because if I'm an employer and I read that you've been promoted 3 times in the past year, I'm only assuming that you must be good. I want to give you a call. If you've been recognized as the best employee of the year, you've received an award, you were the top performing member of your team, you have graduated on the dean's list with honors, all of this are results. The more you put these things and the more you're going to sell yourself. This is how you start receiving phone calls. I told you this was very, very important. You've got to do this, okay? Feel free to take any screenshot you want, any notes, okay? So that's very important. Now, here's a question for you. What have you learned so far that you feel you could apply immediately? And I am going to have a look on Facebook right now as well. So please, this is also a question for Facebookers. What have you learned so far that you could apply immediately? What have you learned so far that you could apply immediately? What have you learned so far that you could apply immediately? Very good, Pradeep. I'm pleased. Excellent, excellent, excellent. John is typing as well. Very excited. Okay. Keywords per section verb. I'm just doing it now on my CV. Wow, super fast. Okay. That's really cool. This is why this webinar is for. It's for you. So of course you're doing it. All is easy to apply. Well, that's another topic actually. You'll see that it's easy to understand, but to apply, you have to really work hard, because your brain is not used to extract results, extract numbers. So sometimes you will feel like, I don't see anything else, but there are so much more. So practice your brain, you know, practice, so that you can hopefully extract more and more results, okay? So where are we with my 3 steps formula? Well, step number 1, the CV. The CV now is magnetized. But you see, just a CV magnetized is not going to attract phone calls, because we don't have employers. Where are employers? Where are employers? Okay? Employers are, number 1, on databases. They are on databases. So the second step is really about throwing your net. Throw your net. Okay? So what do I mean by throw your net? Well, you now have the keywords to be found and read more often. Remember, we still haven't applied to any position yet. We just worked on our CV. We magnetized our CV. And you also have the numbers that employers are looking for. Employers speak numbers. They want to see results, and they want to see quantity. Okay? Now, actually, is the time where you're going to start attracting these employers, because they are already on these job portals, LinkedIn, etc., etc. They are already typing keywords. They are typing keywords every working day, regardless to where you are. Recruiters, that's what they do. They recruit every single day. They're on those databases of CVs, online databases, on their company databases, and they are typing keywords every single day. You know, I would say millions of keywords are typed in those databases on a daily basis. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, so I want you to start updating your LinkedIn profile with the new profile, the one that you created on your CV, copy pasted on your LinkedIn, because it includes keywords, results, achievements, and action verbs. And I want you to also start attaching your CV and add your contact details. Sometimes I smile and I'm sad, actually, because some people put on their LinkedIn status, currently looking for work, and you know what? They don't actually put their CV or their email address or anything to contact. They are hoping their recruiters are going to send you a connection request and wait and hope for the best. Come on. You've got to make yourself immediately available, immediately, you know, here, call now. Like companies, they do, you know, what do companies? They put an advertisement, but they don't let you guess. They give you the number straight away. Call 800 now. Okay? So that's what you want to do immediately to action. Okay? You want to register on job portals. Yeah, but Hamza, no, it doesn't work. Job portals, you know, I tried it and it doesn't work. Job portals are rubbish. Stop. That's a victim mindset. Job portals are job portals. They're not good or bad. They're just machines. It's how you use them that makes you that gives you results or not. Remember this. If you feel job portals didn't work for you, try with keywords. Try with, you know, action verbs, results, and quantities. Try. You'll be impressed. Be where employers are. This is where they are. And send your profile to recruiters. Okay? Right now, we haven't even started sending a job application yet. We have just positioned ourselves into the market. Okay? I hope it makes sense, everyone. So, third step and final step. Okay? Third and final step. I want to talk to you about really becoming the #1 CV, beating the competition. Because, you know, perhaps you have the keywords, you have results, quantities, action verbs, but imagine if, let's say, I source 25-30 CVs. I'm not going to interview 25-30 CVs. Let's say I'm going to take the 5 first CVs and I'm going to start interviewing them. And if I can't find the one I'm looking for, the profile I'm looking for, after interview, undo the next 5, and so on and so forth. But how do you make sure that it's your CV that is on top of the pile, that is called first? How do you do that? Now, look at what we're doing. We have a CV that's magnetizing. We have now positioned our CV all over the place. So while we are going to be applying for jobs, you know what's happening? Your CV is being found in the search results at the same time. So you have things that are working for you while you can focus now on the job application, which is the third step. Okay? I hope it makes sense so far. Now, do you remember where your competition is? Your competition is, you know, everywhere you see apply now, everywhere you see, you know, these generic addresses, it all goes to a database. It makes me laugh sometimes, people, because they are, you know, looking for work, but the only thing they do is that they say, hey, let's go and look for work where there's only one position and hundreds of job applicants. Why? Why? You need to find a different entrance. Stop queuing. It's too noisy, it's hard, okay? So essentially what I want you to do now is to always send your job application to the decision maker. Now you can send it to you know, the apply now button. You should send it to the apply now button, so you should stick to that. That's fine. But what I want you to do is send it to the decision maker. Hamza, we don't know who the decision maker is. Yes, you do. No, Hamza, sometimes it's not written. I'm not talking about this. See, that's the power of webinars, by the way. Because I have no one to speak to, I'm doing my own dialogue. You see, so I'm not going schizophrenic. I'm just doing my own dialogue because I can hear the voices of people sometimes when I do live presentations, physical live. They immediately jump and they say, no, Hamza, sometimes you don't know the decision makers are. So let's say I'm an IT project manager. I'm an IT project manager and there is a position. I don't know who the IT director is. Well, I go on LinkedIn, I type in the name of that company, and I find the employee that is the IT director, the chief technology officer, or whatever it is that he's doing the head of IT job. Ta-da! That's it. Yeah, but Hamza, we're not connected with this person. I mean, he's not accept our connection request on LinkedIn. Yes, I know. That's why you have to start using something called Find That Lead. Now, please listen carefully because I cannot share my screen, otherwise I would show you, but the system that I'm using doesn't allow me to show you on my screen how to do it. Find That Lead is a Chrome extension. So an extension is a little bit like a mobile app. It's a little bit like a mobile app, but it's a Google Chrome extension. So in order for this to work, you have to be on Google Chrome, not Internet Explorer, not Safari, and not Firefox. You have to be on Google Chrome. Once you're on Google Chrome, go on Google and look for Find That Lead extension. Find That Lead Chrome extension. Just look for that, okay? On Google Chrome, remember, on Google Chrome, okay? Once you do that, you're gonna be able to, you know, Chrome is gonna ask you if you wanna add that extension to your Google Chrome. You're gonna say yes. And you know, on the top right corner, once you say yes, will appear a small square, blue square, the same blue, sky blue, that says FTL. On the top right corner of your Chrome window will appear a small square called FTL. Then you go to linkedin.com and then you go to a profile and then you click on FTL. And FTL is going to look for the professional, okay, email address of the profile that is on the screen. Does it make sense? Okay, keep this in mind. So this way you're going to start getting the direct email addresses of decision makers. Hamza, does it work 100% of the time? No. I wish I could say yes, but no. But I would say 50% of the time to 70% of the time, which is good. I want you to start sending your job application to decision makers. That's very, very important, okay? Remember, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me at the end of this course. We're almost at the end, by the way, so make sure you keep your question for the end. So what's important as well is that the decision maker, the IT director, is going to receive your CV. That's going to create what? A view. Your CV is going to be read, not by a recruiter if you have the keywords, but by the recruiter and the decision maker. The decision maker usually sends it to someone else in HR, his colleague for a second opinion, whatever. So your CV is going to be read and read and read. I told you I will prove to you that with 50 job applications, you can get, almost 2.5 times more your CV read. I didn't even count the fact that you are also registered on job portals and that your CV is being found as we speak. All of this together makes Lisa, even if she applies 50 times, she will be found she was found 135 times. Does it start making sense to you guys? Please say yes or no. I want to make sure that this is important to you. So I want to make sure that you really benefit from this. Does it make sense to you or not really? John says yes. Thank you, John. Pradeep says yes. Manel says makes sense. Awesome. Awesome. Yay. Okay. Thank you, Thierry. Badis says sure. Excellent. I'm pleased. Oh, great. Great, great, great. And the one thing I want to warn you about is that you've got to be careful about internet, because once you're going to start writing job application emails, that too is important. What's the purpose of an email? Well, if your email is good, he will open your CV. If your email is not good, he will not open your CV. It's a little bit like the subject of an email. With the subject of an email, you will decide if you open the email or not. With the subject of an email, you can immediately tell that's a spam, or that's a sales discount promotion. I'm not going to open that. It's the subject of the email. Then if the subject is good, he reads your email. If your email is good, he opened your CV. You see, step by step. I hope it makes sense. So what you want to do is start selling properly in the email. What a lot of people do when they send their application is that they talk about features and not benefits. You see, Apple, the iPod, when it came out, it could have promoted itself or advertised by saying, oh, we have a storage of 1 gigabyte of MP3s. But no, they didn't say that. They said, we have 1,000 songs in your pocket. You will have 1,000 songs in your pocket. You see, 1,000 songs is a benefit to me. A storage of 1 gigabyte, I don't see the benefit. It's a feature. My brain needs to think, oh, that's roughly 900 to 1,100 songs. Okay. So you see, I don't see the benefits right away. A lot of people, they talk about features. When they send job application emails, they talk about features. They say, I have a degree. Oh, and what's in it for the employer? They say, I am that much experienced. And what's in it for the employer? Benefits are results. Benefits are results. So you want to tease employers with benefits, with results, on your email, because he will want to know more. The story I always tell is that I received once an email from a salesperson, and a salesperson said to me, in the email. He said, "Hi Hamza, we are the leader in energy optimization, blah, blah, blah. Please find attached our company presentation." Did I read his company presentation? Of course not. A few days later, a salesperson, that's probably a competitor, sends me an email. And he says, "Hi Hamza, you know, just briefly," he said, "I have saved this year, I have saved on average around £1,000, for my clients on their energy bill, on their electricity bill. I would love to have a discussion with you and show you how we could do that for you as well. Please find attached my company brochure or my profile or whatever, or more information." Do you think I opened the second email? Yes or no? Please say yes or no. Do you think I opened it? Of course. He saved £1,000 at the time I was in London. He saved £1,000. I want the same. Of course I opened his attachment. That's smart. Okay? That's what you want to think about. You see, most of the stuff that you will find on internet, and that's why I'm saying be careful on internet, is stuff that's not really compelling. Boring stuff. So here's my approach to this. In order to get employers to open your CV, when you send them your job application email, you have to remember it needs to include two things. Number one, curiosity triggers. Curiosity triggers. You see that email that the salesperson sent me? I mean, he got me super curious. So curiosity triggers. Number two, it shows benefit for the recipient and not the features of the sender. Benefit for the one who reads it and not features of the sender. You see, features of the sender is that we are the leader in. That's features for you. That's good for you. I don't care. But benefit is I have saved £1,000 on average for each of my clients here on their electricity bill. It's powerful. Really, really powerful. Okay. Here's a quick thing where you have to think step by step. If there's a problem, it's one of these steps. The purpose of an email subject is to get your email opened. If your email is not opened, you know, your email subject needs to change. If you're wondering how to see if your email is opened or not, well, that's one of the tools that I will share with you. I will show you at the seminar. For some of you, I will show you, for all of you that actually participate to the seminar, I will show you how to see if someone is opening your CV without them knowing. And it's completely legal, I promise you. We're not going to hire a detective, etc., etc. Okay? The purpose of an email is to get your CV open. If your CV is not opened, your email is not good enough. The purpose of a CV is to get a call. We established this in the beginning. The purpose of a phone call is to convert it into a job interview, and the purpose of a job interview is to get an employment offer. And finally, every single employment offer you have to negotiate. By default, you negotiate. Most people by default, they don't negotiate. Or by default, they are so clumsy negotiating. I've had to hire for myself, and sometimes I've had people trying to negotiate and they would go, is this negotiable? And I would say, no. He asked me if it's yes or no. Do you think I was going to say, yeah, sure. How much do you want? No. You see, he was clumsy. He shouldn't have asked me yes or no, is it negotiable? Because if I have a choice between yes, I'm going to lose money, or no, I'm not going to lose money, I'll go for no. That's their attempt of negotiating. Is this a joke? If you do that in the next 10 years, you leave so much money on the table. It's unbelievable. Anyways, all this we will cover in depth. I will give you the techniques, the tactics for the seminar. Okay, so don't worry too much about this. My 3-step formula, magnetizing your, we know how. Keywords, quantities, i.e. numbers, results, and action verbs. Number 2, throw your net. Throw your net. You have to position your CV now everywhere recruiters and employers are, so that in the background, it starts working for you. And number 3, destroy the competition. Send, push that button, apply now, that's fine. But from now on, start sending your application to the decision maker. If you're in sales, find the business development director, the sales director, or whoever. Okay? If you're in customer service, find the head of the customer service department and send him your email. Okay? Question for you, how long do you think these methods will be useful? How long do you feel what we've been through together will be useful to you? And please, this is a question for Facebook as well. If there are still people on Facebook, Dora, for example, thanks Thierry, it's a question for you as well. Do you believe that these methods are going to be useful to you or not? Just say the truth. If you think this was a waste of time, I hope not, because I'm taking some personal time to do this. Excellent. Like, for how long? How many weeks, months, years? How long do you think this will be useful? Is it just for your next job search? People are writing. Exactly, lifelong, absolutely, Thierry. Exactly. Now that you know this, the rest of your career is going to be different, because if you're able to find more job opportunities, if you're able to get more job interviews, you're getting more opportunities to change your life, to work with an inspiring manager, to earn more money. If you multiply this by 3, 4, what kind of career do you think you're building? I hope it makes sense. This is not just because you're looking for work now. No. Okay, so are you Lisa or Sandra? I have a question for you. Before starting this webinar, were you Lisa or Sandra? In terms of mindset, in terms of results, were you Sandra or Lisa? Just be straightforward and honest. If you were Lisa's, amazing, respect. If you were Sandra, I really hope this is useful. So Pradeep started writing, and then she's writing again. Pradeep, you stop now. Okay, for me, before Sandra. Thanks for being so honest, Pradeep. Thanks for being so honest, and thank you for that's good. Then if you are now thinking like Lisa, and you stop blaming the market or things like this, or others, or circumstances, or whatever, then you're on the right track. You're absolutely on the right track. Okay. Remember, this is nothing compared to the seminar. It's just an example of what I have. Now, I'm just going to talk to you about the seminar very briefly, because I promised you, but for those who stay until the end, I have an extra bonus for you, an extra tip for you that I don't normally share. I've been sharing it on this webinar, on these webinars only. Okay. So what you have to remember is that looking for work, sometimes it could feel like you're in a maze. You really don't know what to do in order to get results. It's like this person in the maze. He's in the maze, but he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know the difference between right and left. But when you take some altitude, like the way we look at the picture now, we are taking some altitude, we can know where it goes. Do you see? I mean, we can actually trace the path, because we've taken some altitudes. Most job seekers are in the maze. You see, what happens when you actually get some knowledge is that you get some altitude. Suddenly your motivation picks up. Wow! Because you see the possibilities. You have a vantage point that is not like job seekers that just send job application, and hope that someone one day will notice that. You have now some altitude. The way you feel right now, like you feel a bit more powerful, like you can control things a little bit more, that's because of knowledge. You have invested this time. Tomorrow is a day off in Dubai, in the UAE, in the Gulf, and you've decided to invest it with me. Now look at how you feel. I want you to keep this in mind. It's the knowledge that's important. It's not finding a job or not. It's the knowledge. If you know how, finding a job is just, it's just a detail. Remember, it's hard to see the big picture when you are in the frame. You see, with knowledge, you're seeing the big picture. Or, I mean, with a bit of knowledge, you're seeing a bigger picture, okay? In other words, if you change nothing, nothing will change, period. If you change nothing, nothing will change, period, okay? The problem is never what you don't have. The problem is never that you don't have a job. It's what you don't do. It's what you do that determines if you have a job or not. The problem is never the end result. It's the recipe. It's how you cook, okay? Because my techniques work. It's mathematical. I want to say something about the type of people that would spend time investing watching this when they could go out, watch TV, etc., etc. It's the weekend. The type of these people that do these things, you know what, are very special people, are leasers. You invested in yourself. Very few people would do that. The truth is, everyone is like, oh yeah, count me in, I'm gonna register, I'm gonna do this, how many come? Not many. Very few people do that. Very few people want to fight, want to learn, want to go through the learning curve. And I want to say, well done. I have so much respect for you, and I mean it. Regardless of what happens in the future, whether I see you on the seminar or not, if I see you, we'll get to know each other, we'll spend a day together. But if I don't see you, that's pretty okay. I want to say that I have a lot of admiration for people like yourself on Facebook, on my webinar, that are actually going to invest in themselves. They're actually going to learn. They're actually going to, just sacrifice their personal time to be able to give themselves a better chance in life. You are what I call seekers. You see, you have three types of people. Successful people, they are the ultra rich, they are super happy, they have an amazing family, they got it. They have arrived at destination. You have losers, they complain and do nothing about it. They complain and do nothing about it, okay? And you have seekers. Seekers are on their way. You guys are seekers. I have so much respect for you. So much respect for you. And I'm reading the chat. I will stop, obviously, if there's a question, but I will say have a great evening. It's been an honor and pleasure, I mean it, to speak to you. I hope we'll have a chance to get to know each other. I do personal coaching, I do a lot of things, so feel free to have a look at nameyourcareer.com. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, everyone, and I wish you all the very best. Please don't keep this webinar for you. Just share it. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't keep these videos forever, and it removes them at some point. So please share it. Please share it before it's too late. Yalla, thank you so much once again, and can't wait to speak to you again. Bye-bye.